Suicide notes. Day 14. My bandages came off today. I didn't know they were coming off, so it was a little bit of a shock when Goody Two Shoes called me into the medical room after breakfast and pulled out her scissors. And it was even more of a shock when she unwrapped the gauze and I saw the stitches. I didn't know what I thought would be there, maybe some tape or something, but there were little black crisscrosses along my wrists, like tiny railroad tracks or animal prints. It looked like a mouse had run across my arm with muddy feet. The stitches came out too. That hurt a little because the skin had healed around them. But Goody's a whiz with her scissors and tweezers, and she got them out pretty quickly. Now I just have these reddish scars here. I guess I always will, although Goody says they'll fade over time. I don't know if I want them to fade. That probably sounds totally freaky, but part of me doesn't want to forget what it felt like, even though it hurt. If I forget about the pain, I might also forget that it was a really stupid idea to do it in the first place. My mother told me once that having babies is like that. I guess she was in labor for something like 16 hours when she had me. Also, it was the middle of July, and being super fat in the hottest part of the year wasn't her idea of fun. All in all, she said it wasn't as beautiful an experience as they make you think having a baby is, and afterwards she told my dad she would never do it again. But she apparently forgot how much it hurt because 2 years later she had my sister. Although this time she planned it so she'd be her fattest in the winter, then she could wear a bunch of clothes to cover it, and she wouldn't mind being warm all the time. And then she had them load her up on painkillers the minute she started having contractions. Amanda only took like 2 hours to pop out anyway, a fact my mother reminds me of whenever she wants to make me feel guilty. Then I reminded her that nobody told her to go and get pregnant. Not that I'm really comparing having kids to trying to kill yourself. I'm just saying that sometimes forgetting how much something hurts makes you do them again. And that's not always such a hot idea. I'm not even sure I want kids, by the way, even if I'm not the one who has to be pregnant. It seems too risky. I mean, what if you end up with a kid that's just plain bad or stupid? It's not like you could give it away or put it in a garage sale or something. You're pretty much stuck with it for a long time. I know now they have all these tests they can do so you can find out if your kid has 3 arms or is retarded or whatever, but you can't test for everything. You can't test for crazy, for example, or for bad taste in music and clothes and stuff. You can't know if your kid is going to be someone you would actually want to have hanging around. You just have to take your chances. That seems like a pretty big gamble to me. Not that I'd be having any kids right away anyway. I'm only 15. I know, there are a lot of 15-year-olds out there having babies, but not me. I don't need to mess up my life any more than it already is, so no babies for me. I'm glad we got that straightened out. I don't know how I got from my stitches to babies. Sometimes my mind goes in weird directions, or maybe it's the meds, which I'm still on. But Cat Poop says these are just antidepressants and nothing too heavy duty, not like the Pez. Anyway, after I got my stitches out, I went to show Sadie. I know I kind of freaked out the other day when she mentioned them, but the truth is, she's really the only person who hasn't treated them like they're a big deal, and that's sort of cool. She asked if she could touch my scars, and I said it was okay. She ran her fingers over them like they were puppies, really softly, like she was afraid she might open them again. I don't have any scars, she said, and she sounded kind of sad. Do you remember almost drowning? I asked her. It's something I'd been wondering for a while, but I wasn't sure if it was something I should ask. Now, since she was touching my scars and all, well, I figured it was a good time as any. I remember everything was green and quiet, she said. At first, when the air ran out, my chest burned, and then the pain went away, and everything was really quiet. I felt like I was flying. The next thing I remember is lying on the grass. Sam was breathing into my mouth, and all these people were staring at me. I asked her who Sam was, and she said he was the guy who'd saved her. He'd seen her jump into the lake with all her clothes on, and he thought it was a little weird. When she went under and didn't come up, he jumped in and pulled her out again. He's called a couple of times, Sadie told me, to see how I am. After that, I had to go see old Cat Poop. The first time I noticed was that something about him looked different. You got a haircut, I said once I realized what it was. Yes, he said. I wanted him to say that I'd been right about his needing to deal with his hair, but instead he launched right into therapy time. He reminded me that my parents were coming tomorrow for their weekly visit. Mom, I'm almost done with this thing. Please go away. I'm on video. I'm on video.
No metas a Nick a la jaula.
Close the door. Then he asked me how I was getting along with the other kids. I told him I was getting along fine, and he seemed happy with that. I thought things were going too easily. Then Cat Poop said, I see your bandages are off. Like he didn't know. I'm pretty sure Goody would never remove them without his permission. I looked down and said, I guess they are. Like until then I hadn't even noticed. How about that? How do you feel about seeing your cuts? He asked me. I shrugged. I guess it means my career as a hand model is over, I said. That might take some getting used to. The doc looked at my face for a long time, so I said, seriously, it doesn't bother me. They're just cuts. I think he was trying to figure out how big of a lie I was telling. The thing is, I wasn't telling one at all. Seeing the cuts really doesn't bother me. Honestly, it's better than having your wrists wrapped up like a mummy. Besides, as long as I wear long sleeves forever, I'll hardly ever see them. All right, Cat Poop said, but I don't think he was totally convinced. Then that's it for today. All in all, it was a pretty good day. For one thing, I got Cat Poop to cut his hair, which I think is totally huge achievement. Plus, I got my bandages off and didn't freak out about it. I think I can honestly say that for the first time since I got here, I'm feeling more or less okay.